Alrighty. Hello everybody. This is Kirusho here, and now, before we do start, let us give a brief little review. In the last part, a number of things have happened. Now, we had Deku. Deku, he was put into a bit of a tight situation. He's come back to the superhero side, and he has been Spider-Man for well over 5 years. Now, things are a bit rocky with his relationship with Cindy after coming back from being mind controlled. And Deku, he's been trying to take care of his daughter while also trying to save New York. And that has been a bit difficult. However, he has done a few things. He went to go see his father in another universe for advice. And he discovered that his spider sense, it was there in that universe. But when he came back home, it wasn't. Now, Deku, he is trying to think. He talked to Reed and even talked to Julia, and discovered something quite simple. Jackal may have used a device to block his spider sense. He used one before in the past to mess with Deku's head. However, he didn't think too much about it. But since his spider sense has been gone for months and months and months, now he has thought about it. I mean, he thought maybe it was broken, maybe it was turned off, or maybe it was just destroyed by the attack. But no, Jackal is using a machine to nullify his spider sense. And that's weird. Deku talked to Julia about it, and Julia was asked to talk to Cindy about things so he can get back into the battle. Or, at least back into the fight. That's how things are supposed to be, before people in New York suddenly turn into giant fucking spiders. Now, with that being said, that has started to happen. And people, they were willfully unprepared for that. And the moment the heroes announced they had a cure, people started to line up. People saw loved ones and heard about people they know turning into spiders, even complete strangers. Just these massive arachnid creatures. And it's not good. These arachnids have been going somewhere. And that is not something they want to find out. Now, Deku, the moment this started to happen, he went out. And he went out in a new Spider-Man suit. It may not be the Iron Spider suit, but it's definitely gotten a lot, well, let's just say a lot more defensive. He has metal plating covering his arms. He has metal plating covering his torso, his back, and even has a metal helmet. And Deku does even have a few things the Iron Spider suit does also have, such as a radio system, and police scanners. And he also does have at least a heads-up display with infrared, and the ability to look on the color spectrum, or the electromagnetic spectrum. Now, basically that does mean that he'll be able to look at radio chatter, also be able to tell disruptions in the air, and see in infrared. These things will all help him, and Deku isn't too sure what he might encounter. But all he does know is he has a really thick metal helmet and anger. So, what can Spider-Man do? That right now on Deku's mind. Him swinging through the air and going overhead. And people are going to see it. Spider-Man is back. Spider-Man's here. And many people are quite alarmed. And Deku, he actually does look down. Him at least trying to yell at a few people about where they need to go, and exactly what they need to do. And Deku is to swing up into the air, he actually has to turn his head. Him hearing somebody pop into his comms channel, as Deku has to spin around and turn. Him going to throw his hand backwards and fire at a web. Him swinging backwards before spinning back around. Asking, okay, so who is it? Hey, it's me, what's going on? Oh, Chaco? You're not one of the giant... You know what? Never mind. Yeah, I saw that happening. What's going on? Not really too sure. How are you? They're going up on the swing. And Ochako just talk about it. She's fine, but she's trying to keep her calm. Though, this looks bad. Oh yeah, no, definitely, it does. Listen, I'm swinging to a location right now, and I can't tell you where, because the queen might listen in on you. What? Ochako, the Avengers have been keeping you away because the Queen can look through your eyes, she can listen through your ears, and she can look at you through your head. Alright? You're connected to her somehow. I'm sorry, I'm sorry. I'm essentially a human spy camera? Yes and no. Yes and no. How does that work? Because her mind's too preoccupied taking in thousands and thousands of bits of data. She's like a computer. She focuses on feelings, and that's how she finds what she wants to know. In fact, she doesn't even know this conversation is happening. But if she gets the feeling that you're talking to me, she'll focus on me. Or if she wants to focus on me, she'll find you. Not really too sure how it all works, but listen. Right now I have a plan and I'm heading somewhere. Just get off my channel and let me do my thing. I can help you, and no. Listen, you're too risky to have around right now. What you can do is try and help New York and just keep people calm. If you lose your temper, or if you get too angry, or if you start getting too aggressive, you'll start turning into a spider. How do you know this? Trust me, you will. I've seen a lot and I've done a lot. And right now, I'm kinda busy. Deku finally gonna land at the location. Gonna press the button on his ear. As is to pop into a different comms channel. And Ochako actually is trying to take a breath. Her gonna stand up in her redesigned Spider-Woman outfit. And right as she's gonna swing down, her trying to help a few people out. And we do actually have Deku. Deku just gonna land at the lab. Or better yet, the Queen Spider's hideout. Deku, he knows exactly what he's about to do. The Queen likes to move around. And he knows that they've moved already. But he's got to find evidence. The Jackal had a lab. That lab is too cumbersome to move. So it must still be here, right? No, no. He did something different. His lab was based... It's mobile. Then took his mind. It makes sense. He remembers there being a large truck, but he doesn't know what it was used for. He thought it was for transporting the lab and moving things, but it is a lab. It is the lab. The beacon's on a truck. Deku gonna walk in and at least investigate. He finds very little evidence of human habitation, but he does find evidence of the spiders. He finds evidence that the Queen may have been here because she left a bit of a calling card. And Deku just gonna stand there. Him going to turn and go to walk away. However, he does get to hear a voice. Hi, Spider-Man. Deku turning back. I'm going to actually turn and see the giant man spider. The one that has two legs but those weird arachnid appendages on his back. And Deku does a turn and stare directly at him. Huh. Hey, Ben. I see you remember me. I remember everything. I'm sure you do. What happened to you after Carnage? Nothing. You sure? Because I remember you losing your fucking mind. I don't know what it's like being bonded with that thing, but trust me. I know what it's like being under her control. You can break free, Ben. I know you can. Maybe I don't want to be free. You're lying to me. Ben, do I need to go get someone who cares about you? Someone I know you care about? Listen. I know... God, you're gonna hate me for this. I know you're still hung up on Ochako. Don't talk. Why? Listen up, Ben. Deku bring his hand up. Him going to reach under his mask and pull out his earpiece. Talking about it. Howdy gives him this. Let him talk to her. She has spider abilities. And she is out there right now trying to help. So if Ben wants to help, join back on their side. He knows that Ben's being used, manipulated, and he's still hung up about their mom's death. And Ben does go charging forwards, yelling at Deku to shut up! As Deku does drop the communicator, him gonna throw his hands upwards and leap into the air as he shot out webs. And Deku right now is gonna hide in the shadows. Him gonna bring his hand out and stick to the ceiling. Him gonna crawl along it. As Ben does a look down, and Deku he does gonna sit there. Him gonna wait. Him gonna tell Ben, his voice echoing from above. You know, everything he thinks is wrong. You don't have any idea what's going through my head. I do, actually. You're thinking about what happens after this. What you'll do. The next thing you can do to impress her. Help her. Perhaps make the plan move along faster, swifter. Ben, your thoughts aren't your own. Trust me, I've been there. You don't know what's going through my head. You see, we've already been through that song and dance, and I just told you. I'm not repeating that again. Now listen, Ben. What I'm going to do is I'm going to give you a choice. Pick up that communicator and go to talk to her, or I hit you. Hard. Now, you'll either come to your senses, or you'll die. And I'll tell you which one I'd prefer, but I know you won't listen to me if you don't do that right now. Come on, Ben. Talk to Ochako. Talk to Cindy. Talk to Jessica. Talk to someone. Now, the giant man spider does get a turn. Him walking over and looking at the communicator. Him going to bend down, and with his massive hand, he picks it up. Him holding it with his claws. As he has to stare down at it, crushing it between his fingers. And Deku does get a rush forwards, him rushing down. He knew Ben would pick something, and Deku does get a run forwards, him smashing Ben and sending him flying across the building. Him smashing a support beam as Deku does get a run forwards, him doing so with amazing speed. And Deku, he actually does get a look at Ben. Ben looking up as Deku, he came rushing forwards, smashing his hand out directly into Ben. Him punching him through the pillar as Ben is sent flying into the ground. And Deku decides to walk towards him, telling Ben, he's really not here to play games. Him bring out the spikes, telling him, he'll take him down and then get him medical attention. That's what he'll do. That's what he'll do because Ben is a friend, a brother of his, and he doesn't want to kill him. He already murdered Kane, but he knows what she'll make him do. She'll make him kill Ben and then take him over. Be vulnerable. He's not doing this again. He's not going under that bitch's control. And Ben is going to actually get back up. Him rushing forwards with speed, yelling at Deku, don't call her that! And Deku does a rush forwards. Ben going to throw out his hand as Deku leaps upwards into the air. Him smashing his fist directly down and a spike into Ben's arm. And then Deku does a turn. Him throwing out the talon, or the spike, as right now Ben does a bring up his hand. Deku leaping backwards as one of Ben's massive spider arms does a move outwards, it shooting a large spiderweb at Deku. It grabbing him by the leg as Deku, he actually is yanked back down. Him being pulled down to the ground as Ben does go moving forwards. Him going to actually try and staff with the spider arms down into Deku. And Deku does a dodge. Him grabbing up at that one and going to start pulling down. Him smashing his talon or his spike up into it, stabbing it and going to make Ben scream out. The other three stabbing down as Deku, he actually does throw his hands downwards. Him shooting a web, hitting into the ground and pulling. Him right now going to slide as Deku kicks his feet down and jumps upwards straight. Him right now going to leap backwards to the backflip. Ben going to actually throw one of his talons towards Deku, or one of his massive arms. Now, Deku is moving up into the air. Him actually landing on Ben for Deku to throw his hands up, smashing them in the back of Ben's head. And Ben is go stumbling forwards a bit. Deku actually going to jump forwards and then going to spin in the air. Him throwing out two hands and webbing directly into Ben. Him throwing himself forwards hard and smashing right into Ben's back. Ben being smashed onto the ground. Before Deku, he actually doesn't want to start panting heavily. Him trying to tell Ben he's just trying to help him. And Ben is actually going to turn, throwing out his hand, smashing into Deku. And Deku, he actually sent flying backwards. However, he tried to actually jump into the blow. trying to not take as much force. However, that did not work too well. Deku right now going to smash Tricky into the wall. Him actually going to look back up as Bender's rushing for him, shooting out webs as Deku he does try to dodge, moving out of the way of one with his head. However, he's shot in the leg, and Deku he actually look back up as Ben is going to shoot out more webs. Him rushing at Deku and smashing into Deku. The two barreling into the wall, before smashing through it and into another building, them charging straight through. As Ben is going to hold Deku up, Ham right now going to actually smash Deku into a support beam before actually going to turn and smash him into another one. Deku being cleaved right through it. Him going to actually be sent flying through the air and hitting into a wall. Him going to actually try and get back up. As right now Deku does feel blood pour in his mask. And he does feel his wounds. Him looking back up to his bed. And Deku does get ready. Him bringing up his fist and winding up. As Ben is rushing towards him, Deku does throw out his hand, smashing it at Ben hard as he feels his entire hand break. And Ben is sent flying through the air. Him smashing through the ceiling and Rhino being sent up into the air. Him trying to recover from what the hell that was. He feels like he was hit by a truck. Deku should not be able to punch that hard. And Deku, he actually is going to bring his hand out, grabbing onto his hand and going to actually try and look at it. Okay, that definitely hurt. Okay. Ow, ow, fuck, he didn't know he could do that. Okay. Oh. Oh god. Oh yeah, there's damage. Okay, he dealt with Ben. Where's he gonna land in? No, don't think about that. Ben's still on the island. You know that for sure. Let's see. The mask needed to break your hand the hardest you've ever hit something, and let's see the diameter of that hole, and yeah, he's fine. Deku gonna actually bring up his other hand. Him firing it out and swinging up into the air. As Deku, he actually is then going to turn and leap up into the air again. Him shooting out his left hand and going to swing around. Deku tries to look, and he at least tries to send out a message to the Avengers. Whenever he does get back to the tower, he sends it out to many people on their communications channel. Look out for a truck and check it. There might be a chance it's the Jackal in his mobile lab. And people, they are trying to evacuate from the island. So, what do they think is going to happen? Whenever people try to get across the bridge, people try to break through the barricades, people try to do whatever they can. Here's what's going to happen. What's going to happen is Jackal will get away and release a new virus. That's how he plans to spread the new advanced version, the one based on Captain America. And speaking of Captain America, we do currently have the Avengers, who they're still trying to track down Steve, still trying to figure out where exactly the Queen Spider might have taken him. And Deku, he got back to the tower, and he iced his hand, talked about what happened, and he at least got chewed out by a few people, since he was radio silent for a few minutes, and there could have been an emergency in that amount of time. And Deku is trying to talk to a ton of other people, and at least try to explain what happened. And some of them are actually a little impressed. And Deku, he appreciates it. However, he does at least turn back to a few other people, talking about what they actually need to do. And someone does some walking into the room, as Captain Marvel does go to express. Yeah, she assumes that that was the case. Hey, Miss Marvel. Captain, now, actually. Right, okay, Captain Marvel? That's weird. I like it. Sure. Listen, we can talk about that weirdness later. Right now, I'm trying to deal with my clone, spiderized, possess? No, I already said clone. You're trying to deal with a giant arachnid version of yourself, who's your clone. Go on, Captain Marvel. Appreciate it. Okay. Listen, aside from me icing my hand, and figuring out a few other things, we still need to find the jackal. Anyone got any ideas? Other than blowing up every truck in the city? Do you remember a license plate number? Actually, I could help. Right now, Susan going to walk in. Her expressing. Going to turn to Reed. Her going to look at him for a second and presumably say something with telepathy. Before going to turn back to Izuku. Talking about how she can look at the memory if he focuses on it. And maybe they can find a license plate. A description. Maybe something. And Deku, he does get to listen to this. And Susan Stern is going to walk over and stand looking in front of Deku. Him with his mask off, and with at least a bruise on his face. Her bring her hands up directly to the side of his head. And going to focus, telling Deku to look at her directly in the eyes. Okay, this is a bit strange. Trust me. As long as we maintain eye contact, we'll both be focused. Just don't blink. Right. Deku gonna actually feel himself get pulled away. Before we do actually cut to the memory, Deku does gonna stand in the warehouse. And he does gonna look around. They're in the basement level. Is that where we are? Yeah. Listen, this place is a bit strange. I knew that it was a drop-off point and a secondary location, but the main lab was upstairs in the truck. We know that now. He used us to move it around and make sure things were useful. He took samples from us. Okay, I can see that, but focus on the truck, not the lab or whatever you're describing, because if I focus on that, you'll feel a few things from that day. You say you took samples. I did. Okay. Show me the truck, though. They're going to focus. And the two do find themselves upstairs. And Deku, he currently is fighting with somebody. As Susan, she's going to actually freeze Deku's mind in this moment. And Deku does go look around. Him right now feeling the bruise on his face, wound in his shoulder, and the pain in his knee. As he actually just don't look down. Okay, what is going on? Over here. I'm going to actually run over to the truck. And bend down. And Susan, all she really does see is a few blurs. However, Deku, he actually does bring his hand up. Him talking about it. Yeah, he remembers passing by this like a lot. And Susan does her to do a few things. Her speeding herself up, but actually keeping Deku in the moment. She looks through his mind. Every time he may have passed by this vehicle. Every little physical description he can give. Every little thing. And they're actually she's going to pull her hands away and turn. Her going to say the exact description of the truck. As Reed, he does go somewhat write a few things down. And Tony does have Friday search anything for that vehicle. Search DMV records in New York. Search public records in New York. Search anything in New York. And he does even activate some old SHIELD algorithms that he kept in Friday's subroutines. And right now, a few Avengers, they do actually hear about that. As Friday does express, she may have found the vehicle. And she does believe that the vehicle, it is currently near Times Square, hidden in an alleyway, and it was parked there about 10 minutes ago. 10 minutes. We're not that far behind. They're going to turn. Him about to run out, as right now Susan is going to bring up her hand and make an invisible wall. Deku smashing right into it and going to turn. Him bringing his hands up to his nose. Ow! Her actually setting the mask, flying over to Deku. Deku bringing his hand up and catching it. As does he hear the metal clanking together. Okay. I'm going to turn and bring his hand up. Or his hands up with the mask. Pulling it back on as... Izuku? Friday? What is it? There has been a change in your daughter Inko. I'm going to turn and run. Him trying to ask Friday exactly what's going on. And Friday, she does try to inform him that his daughter, she has been doing alright. She was fed recently, and she was put down for a nap. However, a few strange things have been recorded. They go bursting into the room. Him going to run over and actually run into the door and look around. Okay, okay, where is she? Him stepping into the room. Friday, where is my daughter? She is currently in the same room as you. Where? You might want to look up to your right. Deku gonna turn. And right now he actually look up at the ceiling. Seeing him bring his hand up and pulling down a spider web. Oh no. I'm actually gonna turn his head and look up, seeing his daughter right now crawling on the wall. Friday, is that normal for babies? Unsure, unknown. Perhaps in superpowered individuals, yes, but so far nothing in the immune database shows this to be the conclusion. Right. I'm just gonna. They can bring his hand out. Him gonna grab her off of the wall as she doesn't want to let go. And Deku does try to tell her. However, it doesn't work. And all Deku really does gonna do is pull her off of the wall, with bits of it stuck to her hands. And Deku, he's definitely gonna need to tell Mr. Stark about all of this. And probably make a way to. No, he probably shouldn't do that. Or, well, maybe he should make power dampeners. Okay. Friday, right now, please ask Mr. Stark about power dampener designs. I can, yes. Would you like me to ask him for anything in particular? Yes. Suppressor of powers. Are you sure the mutant collars would not be able to be of this purpose? Friday, I am not putting a dog collar on my daughter. Okay. Fabricate the device onto a bracelet, please. Also, does that device also suppress superhuman powers? Yes, it has been recording doing such an instance. Is there anything else you'd like me to look into? No. Thank you. Um, Deku gonna actually look down. Him gonna look at his hand. Uh, should he web her to the... No, no, he's... Friday? Yes, Mr. Midoriya. Please send a message to somebody to watch my daughter. Yes, would you like me to look into Julia, please? Are you sure? I would recommend Susan Storm or Susan Richards. She's busy with her own kids. And Julia is her aunt? Yeah, I'll call her an aunt. Actually, she would be more like a no. That that's me and she's a clone and technically she's I consider her to be a sister, so we're going with Aunt Friday, okay? How about we just classify this instance as Aunt, not that way for my daughter and my clone? I do understand what you are trying to do, but if you do want to be literal, she would technically be classified as I'm aware. Alrighty then. The message is being sent to Julia currently. Anything else? No, I think I'm good. They're going to turn, walking over to the window and going to actually climb out. Him going to close the window and then going to turn and leap away. As Deku, he does is try to talk to Cindy. Him bringing his hand up to his ear. As he's going to swing through the air. What is it? I'm kind of busy. Yeah, we need to talk about a few things that just happened. Oh, what is it we need to talk about? Okay, so I'm getting Friday to create a power suppressing device or a power suppression device based on the mutant collars. I'm sorry, why do we need this? Is that how you plan to take down Ben? Not Ben. Listen, I just found Inko crawling on the ceiling and wall. Also, I found spider webs. I'm sorry, what? Our daughter has superpowers? Yeah. Then again, you kind of gotta remember who her parents are. I'm just, I'm, oh my god. Okay, her right now gonna land. And take a breath. Okay, so, she thought that their daughter would develop powers when she's older, but not whenever she's less than a month old. Okay then. Well, oh god, that is gonna be difficult to try and manage. Okay, so we're not putting a collar on her. No, of course not. We're putting a bracelet on her. Okay, that we can agree on. At least until she's old enough to learn about her powers properly and harness them. Yeah. I don't even know what to say to that. Yeah, I don't either, but right now I'm gonna send you a location and I want you to meet me there. The jackal might be there with his truck, and I might get my spider sense back. Okay, tell me where. Her and I are gonna turn this thing away. As Deku is gonna say the location and the two, do to head out. And the jackal right now is gonna sit there in the truck. Him looking over a few more things. And he is curious. He wants to see what happens to the rest of the city. The Spider Queen, she is already doing quite a number of things. However, as for him, he is still watching, and he has been pleasantly surprised. His experiments have definitely been fruitful. Now, with that being said, I hope you guys enjoyed, and have an amazing day. I'll catch you guys in the next part.